The Scribe's Talisman. Amira traced her fingers over the ancient parchment, feeling the raised ink of the intricate calligraphy beneath her fingertips. The talisman depicted a figure covered in arcane symbols, seated atop a craggy mountain peak between two imposing cliffs. Strange words in an old Arabic script swirled around the enigmatic being. "What secrets do you hold?" she whispered. At 17, Amira was the youngest apprentice scribe ever accepted to study at the renowned House of Wisdom in Baghdad, a beacon of knowledge and learning in the ancient world. For centuries, the scholars there had preserved knowledge from across the world. But times were changing. War loomed on the horizon, threatening to destroy everything. Master Rashid had entrusted Amira with cataloging a collection of mystical texts and talismans, recently acquired from a reclusive desert hermit. This particular piece captivated her in a way she couldn't explain. The talisman seemed to whisper to her, promising power and knowledge beyond her wildest dreams. As the candlelight flickered, casting dancing shadows across the parchment, the ink seemed to shimmer and move of its own accord. Amira blinked, sure her tired eyes were playing tricks on her. But no, the figure was moving now, turning its head to gaze directly at her with piercing eyes. A whisper like wind-blown sand filled her mind. "Seeker of wisdom, do you dare to unlock the secrets of the ages?" Amira's heart raced. This was impossible. And yet... "Yes," she breathed. "Show me." The world exploded in a whirlwind of shimmering light and swirling sand. When Amira's vision cleared, she stood atop a windswept mountain peak, an endless expanse of desert stretching out below. The parchment was clutched in her hand, but the figure was gone. In its place stood a weathered stone doorway, covered in the same mystical symbols from the talisman. "Enter, seeker, if you would claim the knowledge of the ancients," came that otherworldly whisper. "But know that wisdom always comes with a price." Amira hesitated only momentarily, before squaring her shoulders and stepping through the gateway. She emerged into a vast chamber that seemed to stretch forever, its walls lined with countless scrolls, books and artifacts. At the center stood a pool of crystal-clear water that radiated an inner light. An ancient man materialized beside the pool, his lined face etched with the wisdom of ages. He fixed Amira with a penetrating gaze. "Welcome, young scribe. I am the keeper of secrets. Why have you come to this place between worlds?" Amira swallowed hard, gathering her courage. "I seek knowledge to save my people. War is coming, and with it the threat of destruction. If the wisdom in our libraries is lost, it could set humanity back centuries." The keeper nodded gravely. "A noble goal. But the knowledge you seek is dangerous. In the wrong hands, it could bring about the calamity you hope to prevent. Are you certain you are ready for such a burden?" "I am," Amira said firmly. "Very well. Gaze into the pool of reflection, and you will see the truth of past, present, and possible futures. But remember, young one, knowledge without wisdom can be a terrible curse." Amira approached the shimmering pool, her heart pounding. As she peered into its depths, visions swelled before her eyes. She saw great civilizations rise and fall, precious knowledge lost and rediscovered. She witnessed the incredible power of nature and the indomitable spirit of humanity in the face of adversity. But she also saw the darker side of human nature, greed, hatred, and the lust for power that had torn societies apart throughout history. She watched as great minds were silenced, libraries burned, and entire cultures erased from memory. Tears streamed down Amira's face as the weight of millennia pressed upon her. When she finally tore her gaze away from the pool, she felt enlightened and burdened. The keeper regarded her with sympathy. "You begin to understand the gravity of your quest. But your trial is not yet complete. You must now face the Guardian and prove your worth." With a wave of his hand, the chamber dissolved around them. Amira found herself standing before the massive stone door she had first encountered. But now a colossal figure loomed before it, a being of living shadow, its form shifting and changing like smoke in the wind, with eyes that blazed like twin suns. "Who dares to seek the forbidden knowledge?" the Guardian's voice boomed, shaking the mountain beneath their feet. Amira's legs trembled, but she forced herself to stand tall. "I am Amira, apprentice scribe of the House of Wisdom. I come seeking knowledge to safeguard the learning of ages," she declared, her voice steady despite the fear that threatened to overwhelm her. The Guardian's burning gaze bore into her. "Many have come with noble intentions, only to be corrupted by the power they sought. Why should you be deemed worthy when so many others have failed?" Amira took a deep breath, choosing her words carefully. "I do not claim to be more worthy than those who came before. I know the danger this knowledge poses. But I also know the cost of ignorance. Without understanding our past, we are doomed to repeat its mistakes. I seek this wisdom not for myself but for all those who come after, so that the hard-won lessons of history are not forgotten." The Guardian was silent for a long moment. Then, to Amira's amazement, it began to laugh, a sound like thunder rolling across distant mountains, echoing through the chamber and filling her with a sense of unease. "Well spoken, young scribe. You show wisdom beyond your years. But pretty words alone are not enough. If you would claim this knowledge, you must be willing to sacrifice that which you hold most dear. Are you prepared to pay such a price?" Amira's mind raced. What could she offer that would be worthy? Then, with a flash of insight, she knew. Reaching into her robe, she withdrew a minor journeyman's seal, the proof of her apprenticeship and her ticket to a life of scholarly pursuits. It represented everything she had worked for, her dreams of becoming an excellent scribe and scholar. With a heavy heart, she placed it on the ground before the Guardian, a tangible symbol of the sacrifice she was willing to make for the greater good. With trembling hands, she held it out to the Guardian. "This seal represents my future, all that I have strived for. I offer it freely, along with a vow: I will dedicate my life not to pursuing knowledge for its own sake, but to sharing wisdom with any who would learn, no matter their station. The secrets I unlock will not be hoarded, but spread far and wide to benefit all." The Guardian's eyes flared brighter than ever. For a heart-stopping moment, Amira feared she had made a terrible mistake. Then, the tremendous shadowy form dissipated like mist in the morning sun. "You have chosen well, Amira of Baghdad. The path before you will be challenging, but you have proven yourself worthy of the challenge. Enter now, and claim your destiny." The massive stone door swung open with a grinding of ancient gears. Beyond lay a library vaster than any Amira had ever imagined, filled with scrolls and tomes from every corner of the world and every era of history. The keeper materialized beside her once more. "All the knowledge you sought and more lies within. But remember, true wisdom lies not in the knowing but in how that knowledge is used. You have been granted a great gift, and an even greater responsibility. Use it well." Amira nodded solemnly, feeling the weight of her new purpose settle upon her shoulders. As she stepped across the threshold, the keeper's voice echoed one last time. "The talisman brought you here, but the power was within you all along. It will guide you in the days to come. When you need it, simply trace the symbols and remember this place between worlds." With that, the mountain sanctuary faded away, and Amira found herself again in the quiet scriptorium of the House of Wisdom. The talisman parchment lay before her, its mysterious figure now still. But she could feel the hum of power within it, a connection to something vast and ancient. Dawn's light was just beginning to creep through the windows. To the rest of the world, she had only passed a single night. But Amira knew she was forever changed. In the following months, as tensions grew and war drew ever closer, Amira threw herself into her studies with a newfound purpose. She began teaching reading and writing to ordinary folk in the marketplace, sharing stories and knowledge once reserved only for the elite. Amira was ready when the Mongol army finally arrived at Baghdad's gates. Under cover of night, she led a group of scribes and students to secret caches throughout the city, where they had hidden the most precious books and artifacts. Amira wept for all that would be lost as the great library burned. But she knew the most important things: the drive to learn, question, and seek understanding could never be destroyed. In the difficult years that followed, Amira and her fellow scholars became wanderers, carrying their precious cargo of knowledge to far-flung corners of the world. They planted seeds of wisdom that would flourish in unexpected places, keeping the flame of learning alive. And always, the talisman remained Amira's constant companion. She would trace its intricate patterns in times of doubt or danger, and draw strength from the mysteries it represented. Though the path was often difficult, she never regretted her choice that fateful night. For Amira had learned the greatest lesson of all, that true power lies not in hoarding knowledge but in sharing it. As long as there were those willing to learn, to question, and to dream, hope for the future would never die. As an older woman, Amira would often gaze at the talisman and smile, remembering the brash young apprentice she had once been. The figure in the image seemed to smile back, as if sharing some private joke. She had long since unlocked most of its secrets, but even now it occasionally surprised her. "Still hiding a few mysteries, old friend," she would chuckle. "Good. The day we think we know everything is the day we stop growing." And with that wisdom to guide them, Amira and the talisman continued their journey together, forever seeking new horizons.